In this video, we're going to show you how to install the radiator cooling fan on your Ford Mustang located behind your radiator. We're going to use a 1/2-inch socket. We're going to go ahead and loosen the nut on the terminal here. And go ahead and give this a little wiggle. Now we did spray this down with some penetrant here to go ahead and loosen things up. Wiggle that terminal off and just set that down aside. Use the 1/2-inch socket or wrench. Loosen the nut. Now that we have that nut loose, we're going to go ahead and twist this and lift that off and tuck that off to the side. Now your battery is normally held down in place into the battery tray by a wedge that is normally in this location right here, and it's screwed in usually using a 10mm bolt going through the middle, and it secures the battery into the battery tray. On our particular model, it is gone. It appears that the bolt or screw had broken here. You want to go ahead and remove that bolt out of the center, remove that block on your vehicle, and then you can go ahead and lift up on the battery, pull it up, and set that aside. Using an 8mm socket, go ahead and loosen and remove the bolt here. If you follow the expansion tank hose over to the filler neck on the radiator here, I want to go ahead and slide that hose off. Grab that expansion tank and we're going to pull up on that. And by doing that, you're just lodging the mounting tab on the base that goes into a mounting bracket on the bottom. Go ahead and set this aside. Now, if you follow this wire harness down to the back of your electric fan, there's going to be an electrical connector right here. Now, normally there's a little spring clip here that locks it into place. Our particular one is broken. But what you want to do is you want to lift up on that little tab that would normally be in here, and then wiggle that connector and pull that out and separate that like so. Now the harness itself is held into the cooling fan. You can go ahead and just wiggle that out, and it's held in a couple particular spots here. Just separate that from the fan and tuck that harness aside for now. Now on the driver's side, right beside where the battery would be located, there's an 8mm bolt underneath your transmission cooler line here. I'm going to use my 1/4-inch ratchet and my 8mm socket, and we'll go ahead and loosen and remove that bolt. Now once we remove this here and set that bolt aside, there is going to be the same bolt on the passenger side. You're just going to go over to the passenger side and remove that one there as well. On the passenger side, locate that upper radiator hose. Just below it, you're going to find that other 8mm bolt. Let's go ahead and loosen and remove that one there as well. Now at this point here, the fan itself should be loose. I just have one more of these little plastic clips here holding that harness to the fan. It's hard to pull that one out. I'm going to use my trim tool right here. Just hop on in there and separate that, pull that off. Across the top, we have this plastic cover right here. I want to go ahead and remove these retaining buttons here. Pop that out, do the same for the one beside it. Now using the trim tool just gives you a little upward pressure on that, so go ahead and pull that up a little bit easier. Go ahead and pop that aside. Now we have those two out. Let's go ahead and remove the two on the front side of it. Go ahead and grab that cover, lift it up, and set it aside. We're going to remove this bracket using a 10mm socket, loosen and remove these two bolts. Probably loosen that one a portion and slide that over like so. Now when we go to pull up our fan, you can't pull it straight up. The passenger side will hit the radiator hose. The driver's side will hit the transmission cooler line. So what we're going to do is gently pull it up and then drop the driver's side down and then lift up on the passenger side. This will get it past the radiator hose, lift up the fan, and pull it out. Now, when installing the fan, you want to make sure that the little tabs here and on the other side as well, up top here, drop down into the locking tabs on our radiator. We're going to install the driver's side first at an angle, drop that down inside, and then swing the passenger side into place. Push the radiator fan down into the retainer tabs. Now let's install our two 8mm bolts on the driver and passenger side of that fan. Now we have the driver's side started in by hand. Let's go ahead and repeat for the passenger side. Now we have both of our bolts in. You want to go ahead and snug those down. Now it just has to be snug enough to hold the cooling fan in place. It doesn't have to be super tight. Bottom that out. It's snug. Repeat for the driver's side. And snug that gently. Once again, if you over tighten it, you can crack the plastic. So just make sure that once that's bottomed out, give it about a quarter turn and you're all set. Swing the bracket over, line up the bolt. And snug these down. Install the upper cover. Press the retainer buttons in. Reconnect your electrical connector, line that up and push it in. Make sure you feel that and hear it snap into place. At that point there, you're all set. Lower our expansion tank down in a position. That fits into our lower support bracket down below. Pop that in, line up the upper portion and get your bolt placed in. Get that started by hand. And then we'll go ahead and snug that down with our ratchet. Once that bottoms out just a little bit more, grab that expansion tank hose, plug that into our neck on our radiator. Go ahead and lower the battery down into the battery tray. And bring up our positive terminal and pop that into place. Now at this point, you want to go ahead and install your battery wedge or hold down block down here. Put that wedge in, get that bolt lined up, thread that in and snug that down gently. What you want to do is when you tighten that down, you just want to make sure that the battery doesn't slide around like this. You want to make sure it's locked in and pretty snug. Once that's all set, grab that ground terminal, hook that up, and you want to use your ratchet to go ahead and snug these down in a position.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.